Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to Road America for the iRacing.com Proto GT Series. Will Vincent, Yoni Backman, David Ward in the booth for 65 minutes worth of racing here today. We'll bring you some live footage up in just a couple of moments time. But David, Road America, perhaps one of the most famous tracks in all of America, and today we're looking for a great race once again.
Yeah, this is a fantastic track. One of my favourites. Some great high-speed corners here. The HPDs are going to take full advantage of them.
Racing.
We've got three classes here. HPDs, the GT40 and the CR6. And I am really, really looking forward to this race.
So 3 classes of races here today at Road America, and those 3 classes as well, they've each got their individual nuances. The LMP, you know, very fast, that Honda Performance Development ARX-01. Then we've got the GT1, as David alluded to, the Corvette C6R. A lot of power in that thing. Also, you know, it's not that bad to turn, unlike, for example, the GT2, the Ford GT, notorious for having a turning angle like a London bus. But around here, also this track, David, it's very narrow. And that's the important thing, you know, it's going to be difficult to work your way through traffic into the middle stages and late stages of this race.
Yeah, especially when you get through just under the bridge and then you're running through that twisty section and then you come onto the carousel. It is pretty much follow my leader. The HPDs will have the downforce to go around the outside, but it's a really risky maneuver because you're kind of expecting the lower class cars without that downforce aero aren't going to push out wide and connect into you. Another point to make as well is going through the kink. I've seen it many times before where the HPDs have kind of just pushed the GT cars out going through the kink, and there's been some real heavy accidents there. Plenty of passing opportunities here as well, especially going down into Canada Corner. That's also another big accident hotspot. So a couple of guys are we're going to see a couple of cars probably outbraking themselves there, as we have done in practice.
Yep, so the cars have got themselves about a minute left before the checkered flag comes out to signify the end of this practice session. A couple of drivers practicing a pit stop. This is what Richard Avery and Maxim Brumstein is doing at the moment. We're talking a lot about pit stops and this pit road, and also that final corner and the run to the checkered flag. We'll talk about in a little bit. However, we'll start running through the grid for this race. We'll start first of all with the LMP class. We've got Paul Ilbrink qualifying in time of 1 minute 48.716, taking pole position. Marco Archidonio takes second place, so he'll alongside him in row number 1. Maxim Ramstein and Mads Burr in row number 2. Nick Thiessen and Stefan Schudrin in the 3rd row. Christoph Polonius and Marcus Nystrom in row number 4. Mohammed Patel and Jacob Frickinson in row number 5. Jacob Jacobsby and Arcadius Newman in row number 6. And then in row 7 will be Dennis Gerson and Roger Cronum. Row number 8, Jan Solossi and Bassel. And I have to say, with the number of cars on this field here today, we've got 38 cars in this race and 16 LMP cars. David, it's going to be crazy once we get into lap traffic.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, once the field starts spreading out, I think probably I think it's around lap 20 when the HPDs will start lapping the slower classes. But then as the field starts spacing out, the lower class cars, the guys in the GT40s and the CR6s, they're going to have a hell of a time because the HPDs are just going to be non-stop overtaking them because we have that many in running in this series at the moment. It's a bit of a concern, but you know, all these guys are really closely matched. It's going to be an amazing race, and it's anyone's to win, really.
And then we will move our attention over to GT1, and it is a smaller field here today. We've got ourselves only about 10 cars in this field. Florian Denard will start GT1 in pole position. Kei Kashube, perhaps surprisingly for some, starting in second, and also the gap 3/10 of a second behind Florian Denard. Richard Avery in third, Levan Androganen in fourth, Twana Lanioto in fifth, Kieran Peace in sixth, Peter Ridley in sixth, Scott Ford in eighth, Nicolo Rosselli in ninth, and then Tris Peach in the 10th position. Then to work yourself over to the GT2 field, we've got ourselves Nick Vestigi. He starts on pole in that class, Gledoff in second, Dean Allen in third, Jonathan Fuller in fourth, Richard Sobesky in fifth, Wilhelmi Ratto in sixth, Matthew Byrne in sixth, Thomas Van Boosel in seventh, Jonathan Bootle in eighth, Oliver Brand, Justin Gruneweg and Antti Pea did not qualify in the GT2 class. Racing on a 14 corner 4 mile racetrack here today, that is Road America, for a total of 1 hour and 5 minutes. And David, we're looking forward to a great race here today, but we'll talk about some of the important parts of this racetrack very quickly. And I want to start with that final corner that runs the start finish time, because so many different aspects of that part of the racetrack. You've got yourself, the final corner itself, you've got the curving just before you come, you've got the change of tarmac. Then also, once you come out the corner, you've got that pit road entry, very difficult to get onto pit road, especially if you're pitting with other classes. And also, you've got yourself the fact that it's an uphill incline, so if you're running out of fuel on the final lap, pretty much you're stuffed.
Yeah, that last section just after Canada Corner is a really key part. Getting off on the final corner is, you've got to be absolutely pinpoint accurate, because if you lose, because it's such a long straight, if you lose like 1 mile an hour to someone behind you, they're going to be coming by you and you're going to be hung out to dry into turn 1.
Also, the cars working themselves right now through one of the key portions of the racetrack, that complex that needs to call for bridge, turn number 6 and then turn number 7 as well. This is where you can get good momentum, this section of the racetrack. You should work yourself towards a carousel. Also a good passing opportunity, especially for cars working themselves through that traffic. You really want to get yourself past or be passed before you get into this corner right here, right now, before the carousel, before you go underneath the Speedville Bridge. Because once you're here, you really don't want to be making too many big bold moves. They work themselves through the carousel. This is going to be very interesting under race pace. And then they'll come down into a very difficult section of the racetrack with the King. Both the Corvettes and 4 GTs will have to use a little bit of brake, or at least get off the gas to get themselves through that section of the racetrack before they work themselves down towards Canada Corner. But David, we've got 38 cars taking the green flag here today. It's going to be very busy going into turn number 1, even when these fields split themselves up to give themselves a bit of a staggered start. Yeah,
I think the HPDs, they probably got the worst of it going down into turn 1. You're definitely going to see some 2 wide racing through turn 1, turn 2, all the way down to the big braking zone for the left-hander there that goes uphill under the bridge. The GT guys, there's some big names in there that I already know. Really good drivers, Florian to name but a few, Richard, Scott Ford, Peter Ripley, Kieran Pearce, all really good GT drivers. And you've got Nis Vestigi, Eric Mordov, Dean, Jonathan Fuller as well, and Richard. They're all very good in the GT cars. So, and they've all raced with each other before. We've also got the likes of Oliver Brandt as well. He's another class driver. He didn't qualify for this, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets through the field.
Green flag in the air here at Road America. We're set to go racing. 65 minutes on the clock. There we go. A good start by Max. He's going to take the second position away as he works himself up now into turn number 1 for the first time. You've got to get yourself slowed down, right down to about 90 miles an hour through this first corner. All of the LMPs are through turn number 1 okay. You had Robert Jakubowski actually losing a lot of positions early on. And also you've got Roger Cronin trying to charge his way through the field. In GT1, Kei Kashube, he's already through. Most of the GT1s are through without incident. The same with GT2 as well. Dean Allen and Richard going side by side as they work out of turn number 1. Everyone through the first corner of the racetrack. Now the big challenge is turn number 5. You've got Scott Ford right now going side by side with Peter Ridley. Spano Leniotto going side by side with Even and Drogonum as they work themselves into turn number 5 in the NMP2 class. They have all kind of strung themselves out now, but your race leader is Paul Ilbrink in the number 2 Radical Steel Series car. Marke able to retake that second position away from Maxime Ramstein and is all over the rear of Paul Ilbrink right now.
Yeah, this is a real fantastic start for some of the GT drivers. I'm just watching Florian. He seems to have pulled out a little bit of a gap there, which is good for him as he enters into the carousel. You've got some. You've got Kieran Pearce here. It's behind him. You've got Peter Ripley, Scott Ford. They're definitely
the race leader
going to be pushing up through the field. But Florian at the moment, he's got himself a nice little gap there over Kay.
Okay. So meanwhile, Marco was all over the rear of Paul Ilbrink. He made a little bit of a mistake there as he came out the final corner. That means they come past start-finish line. Ilbrink's gap is going to be more inflated than it was for most of that lap. It's currently standing at 6/10 of a second. Marco had to try and make that move. He wasn't quite close enough. He was trying to work on the outside line as he came down into Canada corner, then tried to cut over. That didn't work out for him. He's also got Maxime Ramstein just about 2.5 of a second behind. These 3 cars right now separated by less than 1 second on the racetrack. Matt Burr is also kind of in that mix. They've got a 4-car breakaway right now with Stefan Schudner. He's kind of like fallen back now into the 5th position. And don't forget, Stefan actually qualified 6th. It's gained up 1 position. But they've got a 4-car breakaway. But they've also got Marcus Neutron actually looking to the outside to come out of turn number 5. And he's working right now with Mr. Millennials. Wasn't able to get the job done there. So he will stay in the 8th position. Let's turn our attention very quickly over to GT1 because it's Kei Kachube now into the race lead and he's been able to take that position away from Florian Denard at the start of this race.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what happened to Florian there. I thought he'd managed to make a gap, but he could have made a mistake earlier on. He's got Richard Avery right behind him, another class driver in the GT field. But yeah, Kashube's just somehow managed to make a gap there.
Nick Thiessen there trying to work with Stefan Schroeder as they're going to come down into Canada corner. Thiessen was close, he's not going to be close enough. There's smoke just ahead of him. But this is the battle for the 5th and 6th position. Importantly, however, it's going to be vital. If Thiessen's got this speed, it's going to be vital for him to get past Schroeder in the next couple of laps. Otherwise, that front group's going to pull away. And a track like this, draft is so important down those long straightaways.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of fast corners leading onto fast straights, and if you're not in the draft, you're going to be off the pace very quickly. And Pearson needs to really just keep pushing and make that effort to get by. Going back down to the GT2 in the GT40s. Nick Vestigi and Eric Wardorf just seem to be getting a little bit of a gap pulled out between this group here. Very, very competitive. And I think it looks like Wardorf's just hanging back a little bit and just biding his time. I mean, this is a really long race to run. There's going to be some pit stops happening and things could all change.
That GT2 field actually very close together. You've got 5 cars separated by about 3 seconds on the racetrack. I'm going to turn our attention to GT1, the battle between right now Spano Leniotto and Even Drogonum battling for 4th position in GT1. Last time by Spano Leniotto was 2 minutes flat, 0.6. He's flat 10.5 faster than Even as the work themselves now down towards turn 5. Once again, Leniotto is close, but he's not going to be close enough, David.
Yeah, you can just see like the difference in line that some of the drivers are taking as they go down into that corner. They're just running, some would say they'd be running off the track, but they just run a little bit wide.
Nice trouble down at the kick there, and we've got Carlos Polonius off the racetrack at one of the most dangerous points of the entire racetrack. Cars are going to be swarming past him at 170 miles an hour right now, and he's been able to get that car back on track. We've got Mohammed Patel into the grass as well, and he was trying to work side by side with Marcus Namestrong as they came down into Canada corner. It looks like Patel got himself onto the grass a little bit as they came onto the brakes, wasn't able to slow that car down at all, and fact, got a little bit of a touch there from Nystrom, putting him into the gravel, and he wasn't able to slow that car down. He might have just hugged the barrier there, but he got himself a little bit damaged trying to get out of the gravel trap. But also, very scary moment there for Christian Plenius. He's coming down pit road, David, but he's going to get out of the race.
Yeah, he's it might be a little bit terminal there, but yeah, he just got onto the grass a little bit there. I don't think he was pushed deliberately onto the grass, but as soon as you touch the grass, it's like sheet ice. So he had no braking, no control of the car, and then going side by side through Canada. It's typical classic Canada corner. Once you go off there, there's not much you can do really.
And we've missed it again. Florian Denard has retaken the race lead in GT1. Hey, Schubert, we're going to have ourselves today one of the best GT1 battles in the history of GlacierTV. Going to have a look to see exactly what happened to Schubert. And actually, Schubert got himself, as they worked themselves through the kink, exactly the same place that we saw a little bit earlier on your screens in LMP with Polonius. But Schubert got himself onto the curb, touched the wall. Actually, I'm just trying to see whether he actually hit the wall. If he didn't, it will be oh so close. But he just glanced the wall a little bit there, and no damage to his car really. But Kate Schubert lost the race lead. Florian Denard is back out front once again.
Yeah, it's so easy going through that fast kink. Driven the CR6 here many times, and if you just graze that curb on the inside, it can either help you or just push you out a little bit wide. And as soon as you hit that grass, because you're going full pelt already, your car's going to get a little bit squirrely, and he was really lucky there.
So they're currently working ourselves on lap number 4 in the GT1 class. Of course, it is a time race. We've got ourselves about 8 minutes of the race score to complete. Florian Denard leading away from Kate Schubert. These two will be so close in battle. We've also got Richard Avery there as well. But we've got a car off in turn number 1. I believe that is Fredrickson off in turn number 1. He's been able to get that car back on though. David, go on.
Schubert just went really wide on the second, on the penultimate corner, and that's allowed Richard Avery through onto the start and finish straight there. So this has given Florian what he needs. He needs to be able to just break that toe of the GT cars. But now we've got Schubert coming back onto the inside. He's taking a look there. I'm not sure.
He will.
Yeah,
easily done actually.
I think Richard was like, I'm not going to push for this. It's a long race. Save his tyres and just see how things go. But it'd be better to follow Schubert and see if they can both catch up to Denard again than battle with each other and even lose even more time and allow Linenauto back up to behind them.
Yep, so we're working ourselves running for the top 5 in each class in LMP2. It is Paul Ilbrick leading away right now with a 1.4 second gap over Marco in the number 17 machine. Maxim Ramstein in 3rd, Max Burt in 4th, and then Shorten rounding out your top 5 in GT1. It is Florian Denard from Richard Avery from Kate Schubert. Schubert now up to 2nd, Avery back down to 3rd, but Ivan Drogman in 4th, Japano Lenioto in 5th. And then in GT2, Nick Prestige leads away from Eric Verdoff only by about half a second. Fuller in 3rd, Richard Silvestri in 4th, and then Dean Allen running out your top 5 in the GT2 class. Let's turn our attention back to the race lead in LMP, however, because Paul Ilbrink and Marco Antonio are now working themselves through lap traffic for the first time, and that has allowed Marco to close that gap right back down to less than a second. Past Oliver Grant and Anthony Patila.
Yeah, you can see now that Marco's picking up the draft from Ilbrick. Ilbrick had and Marco goes a little bit squirrely under the braking there, and that's allowed Maximum and Bears to come through. He's going to lose out here. He just needs to get back in line, because going side by side through this right-handed kink at high speed is not ideal. But that's given Ilbrick some breathing space as they come up some really slow, the slowest of the GT cars, and Ilbrick's just going to drive right round the outside of him there and onto the kink.
Meanwhile, Roger Cronenberg needs to get himself up into the 7th position by passing Marcus Nystrom to move the Radical number 15 car up into the 7th position. We've got a lot of traffic at the kink right now, too wide, and they're all trying to swarm around the in the GT2 car as they come down into Cannon Corner, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Max Burton might try to take advantage of that. He's right up behind Max Grimstein as they work themselves into the second to last corner once again. However, it's a proper logjam as they come out the final corner there. Paul Ilbrink has lost so much time there. I'm just trying to see exactly where Marco is, and because it looks as though that
Marco's ahead. Is Marco ahead there? Oh,
no, he's lost a ton of time, a ton of vision. Marco's all the way down into 4th position. They're trying to go too wide, and the GT's ahead of him. Marco is losing even more time right now, and this is what we talk about in GT multi-class racing, that a lot of it all comes down to luck, but also where you can put your car to make best use of all the situation. We're going to have a look back and see exactly what happened to Marco, however, because he started that lap in the 2nd position. He finished that lap all the way down in the 4th spot, lost 2 positions, and it was because he went a little bit wide actually down in turn number 5, got himself into the grey, and then it was on the outside line as he came down underneath the Corvette bridge into turn 6. Cool. So Mads Burr passed him there.
Yeah, we just got just looking at one of the GT40s just as the Marco is coming through the traffic, just spun up a little bit, and he's rejoining now. That's Ratto in number 9 car. The GT40 field just had a tiny little bit of an off there.
So we're going to catch our breath in a minute, we promise. Yeah, let's catch our breath quickly because we haven't got long before all goes crazy once again. But importantly, Marco is now down into the 4th position, and it's all still going on. And really, none of the guys are getting too much of an advantage because as soon as traffic comes into play, it all closes up once again. And of course, we have the GT1 traffic working with GT2s as well, so it's going to become even more difficult. We've got a car off, by the way, and that is Robert Jakubowski, who was in the 10th position at the start of the lap of the 33 car. He went off, I believe, down into turn number 1? He went off the racetrack somewhere, oh sorry, in Carousel actually, a very strange place to go off, David. He went off, caught the grass, into the barrier, game over for him.
Yeah, it's so easy in through that carousel though, you push a little bit wide, or just as you come out onto the straight before the kink, if you just hit that grass or curbing line, it can really unsettle the car and spin you around. But yeah, back to the traffic situation, when the HPDs come up to the GT1 group, the GT1s are quicker in a straight line than the HPDs, so it's going to be interesting to see how they make their moves, because I don't think Florian Dinard or Kate Schube or Avery are going to be wanting to give up too much time on the straights to those guys.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, not only when you have the GT1 traffic working with the LMP traffic a little bit later on. Meanwhile, as we're having a look at the number 25 machine right now, and that is on Jonathan Patel in the GT2 car, and it looks like he's trying to work on Jasper Groeneweg at the moment. They've got cars all around him, and so much going on as they come down into turn number 5. We've got the 9 car of Gilhemi Ratto on his outside, and this is a battle for position, and it looks as though Ratto is going to keep the place. In fact, no, he's going to overtake Jonathan Bootle. Bootle losing 2 positions, because Jasper Groeneweg is getting past him on the run down to turn number 5, and then Ratto gets him through turn number 5.
Yeah, and it looks like Robert Jakubowski is dropping down the field on the order here. Not sure exactly what happened there, but he wasn't that far behind. He was he was definitely in the top 10 there, and he just seems to be dropping down the order.
But Mads Burr, meanwhile, able to go side by side right now with Maxime Reimstein. This is a battle for the 3rd position as they come down into turn 1. Mads Burr's going to have the optimal line. He's going to be clear. He's going to get the job done and move himself up now into 2nd position on the racetrack. However, Paul Ilbrink's now a full 3.5 seconds ahead of that battle for 2nd and 3rd position on the racetrack. Marco has also fallen a further 4 seconds back, currently running in that 4th position in the LMP2 class, with Stefan Jordan now running out to the top 5. And importantly, Paul Ilbrink's got himself some clean air, which will help him a little bit as he tries to carve himself through the 2nd load of traffic. He might, and I say this very loosely, might be able to keep a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, he might be able to. I mean, Ilbrick's just... Oh, he's just on a different level there, isn't he? He's just managed to pull out like 3.5 seconds gap, and now he's broken the toe. And Maxim and Burr are just going to be fighting each other, and that's just going to allow Paul to basically walk away with it, really.
But Maxim's dropped back to about 6 times per second. Max Burr is all over the rear of Ramsey and everything to drop on the green flag here. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Burr can pull out a gap there in that GT Academy car. That number 20 machine as he works himself round towards Canada corner once again. Going to check back in GT1 world, and it does look as though there was a tiny, and I say very tiny bit of damage there to the right hand side of Kei Kashube's car. Turn over our camera and you can just see a little bit of a crimple to that race car. Very difficult for us to get a very good handle on it, however.
Yeah, I don't think it's slowing him down too much. It's probably making him a little bit faster actually, because on that last lap, Florian did a 2 minutes .522 and Kei Kashube's was a tenth quicker than him. So Kei Kashube is closing in. Tyres might be playing into this, depending on how hard these guys pushed at the beginning. They did look a bit feisty, so maybe Florian just needs to calm down a little bit and get back into that rhythm. But Kei Kashube, he looks like a man on a mission, and he wants that first place back.
He does want that first place back indeed, and right now these guys are battling in the championship as well. So a couple of these guys will be making sure that, you know, we're 2/3 of the way through the season now in the Irish.com Prototype GT Challenge Series. So they are going to want to make sure that they still can get through to the end of the season without too many incidents. Of course, the big points are awarded in these races here today, so they want to make sure that they can maximise their opportunities in this race. Eric Verdoff having a bit of a scary moment down in the kink. But we've also got an incident down with the 3 car down into turn number 5, and sorry, 30 car to Paddy Lenioto. I also just caught Garth bidding there down in turn number 5.
Yeah, Basol's just had a big moment there, so he's looks like he's, don't know if he's got any damage on his car. Go and have a look. But
no damage, but very bruised, battered ego there as well for Basso in that number 38 car. He was running in the 12th position. He pretty much is the last of the LMP2 cars on the lead lap right now. Run through your top 5 in each car before it all goes crazy once again. Paul Ilbrink still leading the way in LMP2 with now a 4.2 second gap over Mads Burr. Maxim Ramstein now dropped back into the 3rd position. Marco Cadonio in 4th, and Stefan Scholler in the 5th position. And then the rest of that field, 6 through 10, Stefan Scholler, Gudrun Cronin, Marcus Neumtron, Jacob Fredriksson, and then Jan Slolzy in LMP2 as battle going very sideways once again. Florian Denard still leading the way. That gap is now 1.1 seconds between himself and Kei Kashube. Richard Avery in 3rd, Evelyn Drogner in 4th, and Stefano Lenioto rounds out your top 5 in GT2. Nick Vestigi still with only about a 1.5 gap over Eric Verdon. Jonathan Fuller in 3rd, Dean Allen in 4th, and then Richard Chabolsky rounds out your top 5. And Dave, let's talk about traffic a little bit, because we've always talked about it from the LMP perspective. Let's talk about it now from the GT1 perspective. And they've got to do it both ways. They've got to overtake the GT2 cars, but they've also, at some point, going to have to find a way of allowing the LMP traffic pass without causing too much of an issue. And that LMP traffic is very close together today.
Yeah, it's going to be, because they are so close together, the LMP drivers, and they're, you know, the talent pool of those guys is phenomenal. When they come through, it's going to be a case of, do you want to race an LMP car into the corner with 2 other LMP cars battling for position, or are you just going to like let them go and get on with it? The GT1 guys probably got it the worst, because they not only have to contend with the LMP car coming past them, they also have to fight past the GT40s. But the GT1 guys, they're pretty spread out at the moment. Florian has pulled out a little bit of a gap on Kei Kasube there. But yeah, these guys are all talented. They know what the deal is with the traffic. The LMP guys, hopefully they won't get too impatient
It's a long race.
and do something stupid.
Meanwhile, in GT2, Matthew Vane and Thomas Lambusa were having a battle actually in GT2. And they've been going very closely at the moment. You've got Richard Slobeski there as well. He tried looking down to the outside. Richard Avery's down on pit road.
Yeah, and Kieran Pearce is down on pit road as well. I think we need to go back and find out what happened there. But he suddenly just dropped down the field. It looks like he had a contact with the LMP car just runs straight into the back of him. I think we need to get that on the replay at some point.
Yeah, we'll try and have a look to see exactly what happened there. My camera angles are all over the place at the moment, but try and figure out exactly what happened, dissect what happened there to Kieran Pearce down in that LMP class, sorry, in that GT1 class. We'll get the replay up on your screen in a moment, trying to figure out exactly who hit Kieran Pearce, however, and Richard Avery, of course, involved in something as well.
Maxim just looked like he completely bulldozed him off the track, and yeah, that's bent Kieran Pearce's car. He'll be gutted. That's his race over unless their team can get the sledgehammers out and bend that chassis back into shape.
So the replay coming up on your screen momentarily. So disappointment there for Kieran Pearce. Meanwhile, having a look to see if there's any damage there to the car of Ramstein, and it doesn't look like there is too much right now. Ramstein trying to get himself past one of those cars, Keita Shube, and he is in second position in the one class. But meanwhile, Paul Ilbrink still leading the way in LMP2 as the replay is up now on your screen with that incident there with Ramstein and Kieran Pearce. Meanwhile, we've got ourselves traffic coming into play once again as Maxim Rainstein's ready to get himself past a lot of the GT1 class and this GT2 traffic all over the place as well. And what this has done once again is close that gap in the battle for the LMP race lead. Mads Burt is now only about 1.5 seconds behind Paul Ilbrink, and it's closing up dramatically as Joshua Groenegg there holding up a little bit Paul Ilbrink as they come down. This is a critical part of the racetrack as well, that I say you've got to try and get the cars past, like you don't want to go too much side by side with this section of the racetrack, the carousel onward. The Falcon GP car that will have Loretto, thankfully on that inside line that Max Berg can go around the outside of him. But Paul Ilbrink, as they come past now, the King once again, he's got Mads Burt all over his rear end, but it's turned into a two-horse race right now, David, between Paul Ilbrink and Mads Burt.
Yeah, it looks like Maxim got caught up in some horrible traffic there, but you know, that's multi-class racing, because you never know, later on Ilbrink or Berg could get caught up in the same situation there. But yeah,
I'll just talk about it in a minute.
It is a two-horse race for this,
I'm not in mood
but
to get one.
you know, anything can happen in multi-class racing, so
just show it.
Let's see this. But Berg,
I know.
On him,
show it, and I'll
right as they come up onto the start-finish straight, he's trying to get that draft there. I don't think he's going to have enough.
Meanwhile, Roger Cronin actually also with a good run. He didn't get the job done there on Stefan Schodin, but he was very close. Now they've got a lot of traffic. This is going to be hugely interesting. They're too wide ahead of him as they come down into turn number one. They've got to all find a gap as they come down. Big braking zone there. You see, Cronin's going to be right behind, almost catching that. Just the road right there, the GT2 car. Now they've got to go past Keita Shube, so what comes down into turn number two. And you see, this means that Cronin can't do too much, but ahead of him in the third position, Ramstein is going side by side right now, and that is with Marco. Marco is going to try and get that third position away as he tries to claw himself back up the field, and that pass looking like it's going to be complete as they come down into turn number 5. The pass indeed is complete, but here comes the crossover as they come underneath the Corvette bridge. Ramstein's going to try it, doesn't get it done, however. So Marco now up into the third position behind. Cronin still stuck behind Stefan Schodin. He goes a little bit sideways from turn number 6. Cronin has lost opportunity for the time being right now, and also Ryan and I now got Keita Shube all over the rear of him once again, and it shows them. So apologies there for momentary loss in audio. We are back, and Florian Denard, however, is right there right now with Kei Kashube. Those two are separated by less than half a second on the racetrack as they work themselves into the final corner once again. This long front straightaway as they work themselves up. Kei Kashube will get the confirmation as they come past the start finish line. Kei Kashube is actually looking down to the outside line. Denard is really hassling that inside line. Will Kashube try and go to the outside line?
Oh.
Will he try and get this pass done? Yeah. Yes, he will. And what a pass down the outside by Kei Kashube. He manages to make it stick as well. Kei Kashube back into the race lead.
Yeah, but Florian's got another big long straight here to get the position back. But yeah, that was a fantastic drive by Kei Kashube to go around the outside of turn 1. That's a really big braking zone, and they've got LMP traffic coming through right behind them, so they could play a part in it. This is the section where you've got the GT40 guys in front of you, the GT2 class, and then the GT1s are trying to get past the GT2s, and the LMPs are trying to get past both the other classes. So it's going to be... Oh, Maxim Ramstein's gone off here.
And he might have had some damage a little bit earlier on, and that's now he's going to drop him down the standings a little bit. Because Nick Thiessen as we need to get past him, and also Stefan Schroeder. So Maxim Ramstein now down into the 7th position, with Roderick Cronin hunting him down as well, so working themselves down into kind of the corner once again. So it's all kind of changing all over the place. And don't forget, we're only about halfway through this race. We've still got ourselves a pit stop to think about at some point soon. And I'm telling you what, Kei Kashube at this stage of the race actually pulled out a huge gap that last lap over Florian Denard. It's now up to 1.5 seconds. Yeah,
Denard got caught in traffic going through the carousel. Because you don't have the downforce on the GT cars, you're not able to go around the outside, so you have to follow my leader, and unfortunately Denard just wasn't able to get there before the big carousel.
And this is when the luck that we always talk about turns into strategy. We're about halfway through the race. Now, in fact, all of these guys are going to want to make a pit stop. The track has got so many long straightaways that for a 65-minute race, you're probably not going to be able to get away without pitting at all. I know some guys have probably tried it, not likely to happen, however. But this means that you'll try and pit perhaps when you've got the most opportune time. When you're going into a big patch of traffic, you might try and pit a little bit earlier to get that track position.
Totally agree. I mean, we've got a few guys pitting now. We've got Jonathan Fuller into the pits. Lennon Mutu, he's coming in as well. And behind him, Kieran Pearce is still there in pit lane. Hopefully his pit crew are going to be able to repair that car and get him back out on track.
Meanwhile, having a look at the battle for P6 right now, this is between the struggling Maxim Remscheid. He might have some damage to his race car when we talk about that incident with Kieran Pearce earlier on, and also the off-track incident down into turn number 1. He's currently battling with Roderick Cronin in the battle for the 6th position on the racetrack, the 12 and the 15 cars respectively. And they're also trying to hunt down Stefan Schroeder. We talked about how Roderick Cronin earlier on in this race tried to close down Schroeder and make the pass. Wasn't able to do so. Fell back and navigated away from the traffic. But right now, Ramstein in the middle of a 3-car sandwich. He's actually really is closing up with Schroeder. We'll get their confirmation as they go past the start finish line and what type of times we're doing. Meanwhile, we have got some cars in pit road. We've got Laniote still on pit road, so must be something a little bit more significant to him as he's still sat there on pit road. But as they come past the start finish line, Stefan Schroeder does himself a 1 minute 51.8. Compare that to a 1 minute, and I've completely lost my timing there. We've got ourselves a 1 minute 51.3 there for Maxim Ramstein, so a full half a second faster. Roderick Cronin a 1 minute 51.4. So right now we're going to have ourselves a 3-way battle for 5th position, David.
Yeah, I'm just looking up for where Paul Owenbrick and Burr are, and Mads Burr are. Burr is the quicker of the two by at least 0.2 of a second. They've both had clean laps here, both running in the low 150s, but Burr is just that tiny little bit quicker, and he's run off wide there going down into the left-hander.
Very wide.
Yeah,
that's going to cost him.
I don't know, because it is such a long race. I mean, I know we're only halfway through, but still, he's still got enough time to catch him up, because Imbrick could get caught up in traffic there, but that was a real stupid mistake.
You talk about getting caught up in traffic. Paul Ilbrink was literally 50 yards away from having to go too wide into the King himself. Very lucky there as he worked on GT2 traffic on Jonathan Boutel, as he worked himself down that section of the racetrack. But I have to say, that gap is so much more bigger than it was. Paul Ilbrink worked himself out the final corner, and in fact Paul Ilbrink there goes very wide, and he comes out the final corner. So this is going to actually now negate that advantage. So I'm thinking that Ilbrink might have had his spotter in his ear saying, look, you've got the chance now to make up a load of time. That's probably going to be half the gap to come past start finish line, 3.5 seconds. We had that earlier on in this race, 3.5 seconds. That came right back down as per a very lucky escape for him.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is though, is Ilbrink will just get caught up in traffic and through the back twister section, and that's just going to allow Burr to catch up again. The field's pretty much spread out now, but you can see every single straight at some point Ilbrink's going to be having to make a passing move, and that's passing the slower traffic. And this is just going to allow Burr, hopefully, if he can time the traffic right and make that move, he'll be right there on top of him again.
And also, it looks as though that Roger Cronin's been able to get past Nick Thiessen in the NMP battle for 6th spot on the racetrack. Also trying to work on Maxim Ramstein once again as they come out turn number 5. Will he try to place the crossover? No, he won't. Side by side, coming underneath the Corvette Bridge. Cronin is really on the attack right now. He won't try again on the outside as coming to the King, because that is just very easy place to pass. But Cronin now up into the 6th position, and Stefan Schottman's now actually all the way up to 4th spot as well. We're going to turn our attention back into this battle in GT1 from Craig Schubert and Florian Denard, because that gap's now going to about 3.5 seconds on the racetrack, David, and this is what Schubert needed. Preserve those tyres a little bit perhaps earlier on. Now it's the middle stint of the race, just absolutely go for it and hope that traffic goes his way for the next 10 laps or so.
Yeah, especially when the car gets lighter. If you've looked after your tyres, you're going to be going a lot quicker towards the end of your stint. But they do have a fuel stop to make here, so I don't know. I don't think Florian's be able to catch him here. But Keck Schubert's just getting held up by a little bit of a faster GT1 car oh no, sorry, he's getting held up by another GT1 car who should be really pulling out of his way here, but in GT racing there is no blue flags and such, so Lynn Noto should just be pulling out of the way, because it's not really on, it's just holding up Keck Schubert. Oh,
he does that and let it go.
Yeah. Well
on
done,
the inside
mate.
before they go into Canada corner, and Keck Schubert gets past on the auto there. Wasn't really perhaps holding him up as much as it looked. Always the speed of these Corvettes is deceptive, but Florian and Denard, there's still been about 3.5 seconds of each other, and Denard is going to have to hope now that he can get past Manuel Auto before they get themselves into turn number 1. It's going to be difficult for him to do so, however. He's kind of like halfway between those two drivers right now. Having a look through GT2 as well, and Nick Stevie, he's still got Eric Vedorf just within about 4 seconds maximum of him, and this is when these pit stops are really going to come into play for Prestige and Vedorf, because neither of them have really been able to get any momentum right now over the course of the last, well, since the start of the race really, apart from the first 3 or 4 laps. So once these pit stops come in, it really is going to be a case of who can get on and off pit road, and also who can do those 1 or 2 really fast laps as they work themselves through that cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, it's about the consistency on your in and out laps. You've got to make sure that when you're, hopefully the teams are all calculating now, all their spotters are all watching and telling them when they should pit so they can get out into some clean air, because the last thing you want to do is come into the pits and then have to battle your way through the traffic again on your first out lap.
So, over halfway through this race, about half an hour left go now as we're working ourselves down into turn number 6. Now, having a look at Eric Vedorf, he's just coming out of turn number 6, and he's trying to close that gap to Nick Petiti. Last time by, he was 2 tenths of a lap slower, but it's been kind of to and fro between those two drivers the last few laps or so. Eric Vedorf's fastest lap of the race is 2:08.5, and in fact, his fastest lap of the race is only 2 1,000ths of a second slower than that of Nick Vestigi. So some food for thought for you there. And in the GT1 battle for the race lead as well, Kate Kashube's fastest lap, 1 minute 59.946. Compare that to Denard's fastest lap, it's a full 0.3 of a lap slower. So really, when it comes to raw pace, Kate Kashube still has got the advantage there as he's coming out the final corner right now with a nice little gap of about 3 seconds right now over Florian Denard. To give you confirmation of their last lap time, Kashube was about a 1/10 of a second slower as they come under the start-finish line gentry once again. This time, it looks as though Denard again is about a 1/10.5 slow. So once again, advantage is going towards the car of Florian Denard.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We just need to see if he can keep that pace up. I mean, you're only talking a couple of attempts between these guys, but this is 10-10 racing, isn't it? So, you know, they're going to be right on the maximum, and we've still got pit stops to come up as well. And I know Denard and Kate Kashube were practicing pit stops earlier as I was watching them, and I think Denard was a little bit quicker through the pit stops. Again, we'll see how it pans out under race conditions, but yeah, it looks like Denard's car, when it comes on lighter on the fuel loads, just seems to be a little bit quicker.
Wait for meanwhile, Jacob Fredrickson even been able to get himself up a position there, moving past Marcus Nystrom. And we've always talked about Marcus Nystrom getting past in this race, and wonder he might have had some damage from the earlier contact he had with Mohammed Patel down into Canada corner when the two came together just a little bit, because these cars are so fragile. But just the tiniest of touches really does upset the aero balance, and it all really is in that carbon fibre kind of shell you see over the cars. That really is what produces the vast amounts of grip that these LMP2 cars have. And Nystrom has been going back since the start of this race, qualified in the 8th position, able to get himself up to about 7th position at one point, but since then really has fallen back, and has also got Mohammed Patel once again all over him, the Club UK and I driver, and they work themselves down the second straightaway, down towards turn number 5 once again. These three cars are currently separated by about 3 seconds on the racetrack, but also interesting battle going on right now that we haven't talked about. Oliver Bryant just needed to get himself past Jonathan Groenewegen. Oliver Bryant is way down the standings in the GT2, but he's been able to get himself up now towards mid-pack, and I'm having a look to see how far he is in relation to Guilherme Rasso, who will be his next victim. And you've raced many a time with Oliver Bryant, David. This is the stage of the race that Oliver Bryant all of a sudden finds 10-15 seconds out of absolute nowhere.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? So yeah, he's a lot quicker than everyone else, but he's didn't get a very good drive off there, but he's getting past now. But just anyway, back to Oliver Bryant. Yeah, great driver, really good at saving fuel. I remember there's a few times we've raced and I've pitted and he's been off further in the distance, and it's like, is he ever going to pit? And yeah, lo and behold, he pits at the last minute, but he's able to like eke that out. I think he just kind of coasts it when he's driving into the braking zone as he gets passed by the LMP2 field here. And Jasper's another class act, real good driver there. So those two have been really good back.
Sorry, Mohammed Patel, why are you saying that? Just onto pit road there. So pit stops really are getting going well, as Richard Boleski also down on towards pit road. And first, really, of the cars to blink there is Patel, David, because we expect these cars perhaps in the next 5-10 minutes or so to come down towards pit road. But we always talk about that strategy once again. If you get a load of GT1, GT2s, you might just come in a lap, 2 laps early, because you're going to gain a lot more time that way compared to if you're just trying to save that little bit of fuel to go an extra couple of laps.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble though, isn't it? Because every extra few pounds of fuel, especially in the LMP cars, is going to cost you time, and whether you want to carry that through the whole race. Cronin just ran right there apparently, so just on the carousel.
Is still going, however, and this is Roderick Cronin, who is running in the 6th position in the number 15. Radical Steel Sims car. We've got ourselves at about 20 minutes left, 25 minutes left of this race. Paul Ilbing is the race leader in LMP2. Mads Burt ahead of him, Mads Burt behind him, about 5 seconds on racetrack. Marco Polonio is in third. Stefan Schodron in fourth. Maxim Ramstein runs out your top 5 in LMP2. Go, David.
Did we see Eric Vordorf pit? He must have done.
No one. Not
he's
pitted
had
yet.
enough somewhere then. So
and he's fallen back down to third position. So he's fallen back down. Now he's on the pit road. Now he comes down onto pit road. So he's going to get himself 4 first tyres, and he might not get tyres actually. We'll keep an eye out on this because this will be interesting to see whether he will take tyres with 20 minutes left to go.
It was well, it's going to be going back a bit. We might be able to get a replay of this. Just going under the bridge on lap 18, turning in. Car just gets loose. It's so easily done there because it's the crest of the hill where you're actually braking. The car becomes light along the top, so the car's in basically mid-air and your wheels lock up, and it's just so easy to rotate the car around, and that's allowed Dean Allen through into second place. Really unfortunate there.
As far as the pit stop situation goes, he didn't take tyres by my watch there, so he come out without tyres, just topping up with race gas there. So back onto the racetrack for Eric Vadoff, and pit road beginning to get a little bit busier. Still a couple of other cars down pit road. We haven't got our race leaders in either of the divisions in just yet. Keep an eye out on Keiki Shube. He doesn't come in this time, neither does Sloan Denard. Nick DJ still out on the racetrack as well. Mads Burr and Paul Ilbrink. We'll have a look with Paul Ilbrink in that number 2 car. Gap is now up to 6.2 seconds over Mads Burr as they work themselves past the start finish line once again. And for Paul Ilbrink now, he has to really hope he doesn't get any traffic. Big pieces of traffic in the next few laps. And looking at the track cam, it doesn't look as though he's got too much to worry about.
Yeah, the bit of traffic that he doesn't need is when you've got GT cars battling each other.
Okay.
Because as a HPD driver, you don't want to get involved in that because they're not really going to be watching for you. They're going to be trying to make the pass on the other driver. So yeah, everyone seems pretty spread out at the moment, but still he's going to be pretty much overtaking someone at least on every short straight or every corner.
So, less than 20 minutes left to go, as I said, and we are going to keep an eye out on pit road as it's going to get more and more busy over the next couple of laps. Very quickly, Stefan Schodron is still in that 4th position, working with himself over some lap traffic. That's Rob Jakubowski now scored 2 laps down. However, still under a lot of pressure from Maxim Ramstein and Roderick Cronin, the recovering Roderick Cronin, who went wide a little bit earlier on. To run through the rest of the LMP2 field right now, you've got yourself Maxim Roderick Cronin in 6th, Nick Thiessen 7th, Jacob Fredrickson in 8th, Marcus Langtron in 9th, and then Mohammed Patel, the last of the LMP cars on the lead lap. Also, to have a look at your retirees, Christos Polonios was the first car out of the race here today, and then you had yourself Peter Ridley, Cannon Bussell, Kieran Pease, Dennis Garrison, Jan Zurski all out of the race. And I saw an NMP car going a little bit off track there, and try and get into the carousel, try and get confirmation of who that is in a moment.
Oh, and then we've got Keiki Shube and Dinard into the pits in the GT1 class, so this is working out just about right here. So it's going to be a little bit of a race down to pit crews. Whether they chance taking tyres, I think they're going to go for full tyres and fuel stop here. So
tyres are really important part.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially in the GT1 field here. So they're both waiting.
Not taking tyres, either of them. I was going to say, if one of them took tyres, that would be a big disadvantage. It would give the race to the other one.
No, they'll definitely both take tyres. There'll be no way. And Keiki Shube looked like he has gotten the advantage there a little bit. He'll definitely have the advantage here, but we need to keep an eye out for traffic as they come back out on here. So as the LMP car just goes by, but yeah, you'll definitely take tyres in the GT1 car, no doubt about it.
But Denard comes out onto the racetrack, and that gap's increased a little bit as well. Keiki Shube very good coming off of pit road. And this is one of these things as well with traffic, you know, it might look as though there's no traffic around you at that specific moment at the racetrack, or it might be that, you know, a lot of traffic will be ahead of you, but if they all come in at the same time, or they all come in and they come out ahead of you, it's the changing complexity of this racetrack. But that gap, meanwhile, between Ilbrink and Mads Burr, it once again is back to less than 3 seconds on the racetrack. And traffic, you can't get away from it.
No, I just noticed that as you said it. I was looking up thinking, oh, well that's come down by 3 seconds. So obviously Ilbrick's been a little bit tentative or just stuck behind traffic basically through the twisty sections. And then that's allowed Burrs to come up. But Ilbrick's coming down the pits now. And is Burrs going to go? Yeah, he's coming down pit road as well.
Yeah,
a little bit of up on the last corner. That's not going to do him any favours. But I'm sure they'll do tyre changes here as well in the LMP2 class. So speed limit of 45 miles an hour is night and day slower. So here we go.
Yeah, and also we've got a couple of cars to say now onto pit road as well. So Groeneweg onto pit road, Mads Burt onto pit road, Hill Ulbrich onto pit road as well. So pit road becoming more and more of a busy place in this race with less than now 18 minutes left to go. Paul Ulbrich, he's going to make his pit stop. Let's see if it's good for him. It should be. Mads Burt, keep an eye out on him as well, as they're burning out quite heavily with fuel here, these drivers, and they come out exactly the same time. Mads Burt not going to gain too much of an advantage there, just a little bit, but he didn't lose anything, and that is important for him. Maxim Ramstein overshot his pit spot, so Stefan Schotter should still be able to stay ahead of him as they work themselves on pit road as well. And even Drogden on pit road, Jacob Fredriksson on pit road as well. Keep an eye out on Dean Allen and Anthony Patillo, see if they come down onto pit road this time by. And even does, Dean Allen, however, is going to look down to the inside of Anthony Patillo. They are not fighting for position by the look of it. No, they're not. So just an easy pass there, working over some lap traffic.
Yeah, it does look like Burt got the advantage there. They're coming up some heavy traffic now on their outlap. And it looks like Ilbrick's going to get really caught out here because you've got GT cars going side by side into the corner, and they're battling away. Oh no, it's a slower LMP car. So
slower LMP car indeed, and that's going to make things even more difficult because they're approaching a GT1 car as they come down towards the King. In fact, it's a GT2 car. Justin Groeneweg, will he get past him? No, he won't. This is how much time he moves. Mads Burt now has a chance to look down, perhaps to the inside. He's going to defend that position. Will Woodland and Paul Ilbrick as they come down into kind of the corner. Ilbrick will just about keep it, but Mads Burt really needs something to think about here in the last 20 minutes of this race, and they still got traffic ahead of them. You've got Arkadiusz Newman and Robert Grabowski, who are both down right now, about 3 seconds ahead. You've also got a lot of lap traffic coming onto the racetrack.
God, Ilbrick moved over then to try and get a draft off the LMP car and then jinked back across the track. Thought we were going to have a big accident there. But yeah, this is where, huge defence. That was a little bit blocking there by Ilbrick as he weaved across the track.
A little bit of blocking, but they'll probably get away with that there as they're still battling. They've got slow traffic once again. This draft will come into play quite heavily. You see that Ilbrick able to get himself perhaps a car length advantage there with the draft of the slow traffic as they work themselves down on to turn number 5 once again. And Mads Burt on that outside line. Will he try and do the cutover? This will be the time. He gets a great run out the corner, and Ilbrick's there. He just wasn't able to get to the left-hand side because Ilbrick was all over the place. But he tried it there, and Mads Burt, the battle for the LMP2 race lead, really catastrophically gone off right now. And they've got themselves to say more traffic ahead of them. And this is going to be Thomas Bussel, Robert Shabolski, who will come into play, as will Stefano Leniota and Jonathan Fuller. To give you an update on some other cars that have now come down onto pit road, Scott Ford has pitted. We've also got Shoes Pitcher has pitted. 34 car Marcus Armstrong has pitted. The 22 machine of Nick Thiessen has pitted as well.
Yeah, just watching Ilbrick just catching GT car outside the kink as they fly past him. I think Ilbrick's might just have the pace here, but Mads can just sit in the draft, can't he? So it's going to be a no-brainer. He just needs to pressurise Ilbrick into, I say, try and pressurise him into making a mistake here. So he might get alongside down onto the start-finish straight. He didn't get a very good driver at the corner, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, big beneficiary in pit stops is Roger Cronin, who needs to get himself up into the 3rd position momentarily. We'll get confirmation of this as they come past the start-finish line, but Roger Cronin really able to gain a lot of time through pit stops, and this is one of the big success stories here, using that strategy to their advantage. He's just going to put another lap on Keikashube in a couple of moments' time, but confirmation indeed, Roger Cronin up into 3rd, and also with a 3-second gap over Stefan Schodwim, who managed to keep that 4th position. Maxim Ramstein in the 5th spot. Having a look on pit road, there's no takes at that moment. Most cars have now pitted. So to run through your top 5 in each class, Paul Ilbrink still leading the way with a third of a second gap actually over Mads Burke. Cronin in 3rd, Stefan Schodwim in 4th, Maxim Ramstein in 5th. Then in GT1, Keikashube from Florian Denard, from Richard Avery, from Evan Drogden, and then Charles Peach. And then in the GT2 class, Nick Prestige, Dean Allen, Matthew Bain, Oliver Brandt, and Eric Vadoff. As down onto pit road comes Dean Allen from what was the GT2 race lead. Having a look at the battle P7 in the LMP2 class. This is between Marcus Armstrong and Mohammed Patel, but still it looks as though that gap now between Ilbrink and Mads Burke has also increased. Yeah. So we'll go back to that one in a moment. We'll have a look at Patel and Armstrong back for P7 in the LMP2 class.
Yeah, it looks like Burr just got caught behind some traffic going into the kink and thought better of it. Didn't want to go side by side with them. Can't blame him. But yeah, that's given Ilbrink the chance to kind of get a nice big gap there. And we've got a whole heap of traffic in front of them now as they go onto the start-finish straight. So I'm not sure who's going to become the lucky one out of this. It looks like Ilbrick's got all the luck on his side at the moment. So,
into the closing stages now of this race, Paul Ilbrink still in the way. That 1.3 second gap, he's got to be careful because he's got the traffic once again comes to play, and a lot of traffic. He gets past one of them. That is Scott Ford. He'll get past the GT2 car as well. Look out! As the GT1 car of Scott Ford had to pull to the right hand side to get his job done, and this is going to make things very difficult as they come down into turn number 5 for one guy in particular, and that is Mads Burke, who lost out big time there over Paul Ilbrink, and that is straight away alone. He lost himself about a second on Paul Ilbrink, and it shows that sometimes being the leader is a bit of an advantage.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, because whenever the markers pop up, it's like, yeah, leader's coming through, okay. And then after that,
just to let you know, in the next IndyCar race, I'm not commentating.
You know, it's really unfair.
Because this has been a great IndyCar race, not been able to see a minute of it. So, having a look in GT1 battle as well, Keikashube with Florian Denard. Keikashube's been able to keep that lead through single pit stops, but then also radically improve it. He's now got himself about an 8-second gap over Florian Denard in that battle for GT1 race leaders. He's going to make a move on Thomas Van Boosel in the GT2 car to put him a lap down as they work themselves down into turn number 8 once again before they go down into the carousel. And Kashube, he really used a great part of the race there to get the job done over Florian Denard, waiting until pit stop to really pull out that advantage.
Yeah, I think fresh tyres and good outlap and probably less fuel. Maybe they overfueled Denard's car, and that's why he's kind of running a little bit off the pace there. But big mover in everything at the moment in GT2 is Oliver Brandt. He's now on a podium position. Oh no, he's running slow. I think he's run out of fuel.
So who's running slow?
Oliver Brandt.
God, Thomas Van Boosel spun around also there, right in front. Go heavy, Ratto. We've got a crash here in the second to last corner. This could be related, as I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened. It's a two-part incident, and Oliver Brandt, was going 12 miles an hour, and you're never going to get it back to pit road at that point in time. Ran out of fuel, stayed on the racetrack, and he couldn't put it to the side of the racetrack. And then Keikashube just able to go past. And then Thomas Van Boosel coming, he was blindsided corner as it was, went a little bit wide, smashed into Oliver Brandt, and then also Gilhami Ratto going wide, and then just ended up ramming into him as well. So 2 pre-GT2 cars involved in an incident late on in the race here, David.
Yeah, I think he was trying to save fuel, but I'm a bit dumbfounded by that. I did not expect that from. But yeah, okay. So moving on. Yeah, he ran out of fuel on the uphill. Not much you can do about that.
So with less than 15 minutes left to go now, you've got yourself now Johanny Ratto on pit road, and you've got Oliver Brandt on pit road as well. Thomas Bootle trying to get that car to pit road. He's not going to get it there, to be blatantly honest. Losing so much time, he might as well just get that car towed back down towards pit road. However, battles kind of settling down now on the racetrack. Not too many battles to go on. However, this battle between Paul Wilbring and Mads Berg, we've still got to keep an eye on that, as we've still got 8 minutes worth of racing in this race to go. And you never know, right? You know, one more lot of traffic, Mads Berg could be right back there once again, David.
Yeah, I mean, if we take a quick look ahead, we can see if there's going to be any major traffic blocks coming up, and no, it doesn't really look like it. I mean, there's a good battle going on between Fredriksson. No, he's just LMP traffic. No, a lot of the field is all spaced out now, so there isn't too many battles going on around the track at the moment.
Mads Berg being able to get himself past the number 35 car there, obviously at Peach, losing himself a bit of time in the process. However, a clean track ahead for Paul Wilbring for the most part. You've got Jonathan Bouton, Nicola Rossili, who's going to be there in about 3 or 4 laps time. But apart from that, there's not a huge gaggle of cars right now, so perhaps the opportunity is past now for Mads Berg. I'm going to run through your full race grid in each class in LMP2. Paul Wilbring now with a 2.5 second gap over Mads Berg. In third, Roger Cronin. In fourth, Stefan Chodem. In fifth is Maxime Ramstein. Sixth is Marcus Maestrom. Seventh is Mohamed Patel. Eighth is Nick Thiessen. Ninth is Jacob Fredriksson. And then you've got Arkadiusz Newman, Robert Dragobowski, and Marco Acadonio, who are all scored laps down the track. Marco in that number 17 car, looks as though he's actually out of the race. And then you've also got other retirees, Dan Solzy, Dennis Garrison, Canna Bussell, and also Christian Panos, all out of race in LMP2. In GT1, Kate Schubert leads away still from Florida and I. Richard Avery in third, Lieberman Drogdenham in fourth, Nicola Rosselli in fifth, Troy Peach in sixth, Stefano Laniotto seventh, Scott Ford in eighth, and your two retirees are Kieran Peace and Peter Ridley. Then in GT2, Prestige still leads away from Eric Vadoff, who needs to get himself a big gap with a sequence of pit stops. Dean Allen in third, John Fuller fourth, Matthew Ben in fifth, Robert Shabalski in sixth, Jasper Groenweg in seventh, Jonathan Bootle in eighth, Oliver Brandt, Thomas Van Bootle, Johanny Ratto, and Anthony Pertalia are all out of the race. David?
Yeah, just this has been a really exciting race so far. It's kind of plateaued now. I think everyone's this is where everyone is going to finish, bar any stupid incidents. Yeah, shame about some of the drivers. I feel we're going to make a bit more of a race of it. I think just
if anyone comes through,
just fatigue setting in maybe from some of the drivers. You know, it's a long race. Slight mistakes here and there.
Dean Allen, sorry there, will take a Schubert. Schubert almost getting taken out of the race. And those two were so close together. Schubert was down on the inside line as they came down into turn number 1. And Dean Allen almost spun that car into Kate Schubert. The GT2 lap traffic there on Kate Schubert almost taking him out. I cannot believe that. So close between those two. And
he's
really
doing
close.
It again.
They gets away with it. Yeah, Dean Allen really isn't giving much room to the drivers here right now. And he's got Jonathan Fuller, who's not that far back, so we'll keep an eye out. But we've got Scott Ford also off the racetrack, but he is way down in the GT1 order, just trying to turn some laps. He looks like I'm third home from last as it is. Having a very tough day is Scott Ford right now. But Schubert very lucky there, and thankfully had that huge gap over Florida Denard. Denard made gained about a second in the process of that occurring.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Maybe Dean didn't feel like giving up that much time because, you know, he isn't that far behind Border, who's inherited second place after Oliver Brandt dropped out. So yeah, not quite sure what was going on there, But anyway, Nick Stevie is miles ahead. He's on the other side of the track compared to Lord.
That's what I hate.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to turn around anytime soon.
Paul Ilbrink still leading the way in the LMP2 class over Mansberg. That gap is 3 seconds right now. And having a look actually, there is an interesting battle still going on. Mohamed Patel has now been able to get himself past Marcus Lamstrom. Those two have been having a great battle out this race, with Patel finally in that 11 car being able to get past Marcus Lamstrom. Don't forget also, Dave, they had that incident towards the start of the race where Patel actually went off the cannon corner because those two came together. Patel lost about 10-15 seconds in the process.
Yeah, that's right. He did. He had a big off there and dropped way down the order, but he's done well to come back.
2 laps left to go.
He might be able to get Stefan. He's only 4 seconds behind, but I'm not. We could just check the lap times and see if he is able to actually do it.
Meanwhile, there's about 2 laps left to go at the line for Paul Ilbrink, and this is where fuel will come into play as well. Because all of these guys are always on the absolute limit when it comes to fuel, and at most tracks you can just about get away with it if you run out of fuel and coast to the line. At this track, absolutely cannot. Mainly because of the fact there's a huge steep incline, and it's a lot steeper than it actually looks as well, David.
Yeah, exactly. You don't actually gain a lot of speed, especially in the GT1 cars climbing up it, but
and Nitrom, sorry, there, side by side, and it was so close as they worked themselves there out Canada corner, into the second to last corner there, between themselves and Hamilton. So that battle is not over yet, and Nitrom got himself 2 laps if he wants to get himself back up into the 6th position in the LMP2 class. And I have to say that these two have been actually having a fantastic battle, but Nitrom there lost the advantage to the second one now.
Yeah, those guys have been out hammer and tongs for pretty much the whole race. At least I can say their race wasn't boring at the end of it. Yeah, the lap times between those two is there's nothing in it, so it might come down to a last lap duel.
So, approaching the final lap and a half now of this race. Keep an eye out on this battle between Armstrong and Patel. Nothing's really going to happen. Down into turn number 5, Armstrong goes very deep inside actually. Wasn't able to get close enough there, but he just kind of unsettled Patel a little bit. And that's what you can do if you're that far back. Try and close the gap, try and force the driver ahead, go offline, lose a couple of attempts by themselves, then you can gain the advantage a little bit as well. Double whammy of time that you'll be able to gain. Having a look through, and also you've got Matt Graham still trying to close down Stefan Schroedwem. He might not have enough time. He was a full second faster last time by. The gap stands at about 2.5 seconds between those two drivers. So Stefan Schroedwem has to keep on going. Got some slower traffic ahead as well. That is going to be Jasper Groeneweg and also Nicola Roselli, who will come into play before the end of this race. And thankfully for Schroedwem, able to get past Groeneweg before he gets past the start-finish line. So no need to worry about that one. This time by, let's have a look. 1:51.9 for Schroedweg and a 1:51.7 for Ramstein. So it looks like Schroedweg will just be able to keep that 4th place for the time being. And I'd say good shows there by Schroedweg.
Yeah, a real good drive there. He's done a good solid pace. So we'll see. I think he's got the pace, but Ramstein's like not too far behind him now, is he?
Not too far behind, and we're on the right flying lap at the same point. So for Paul Ilbrink, just half a lap left, in fact less than half a lap left to go, as they work themselves into the king for the final time. And it's been a great race by Paul Ilbrink. He's had a lot of pressure from Mansberg out this race. Gap currently about 2 seconds between those two drivers. There is lap traffic ahead of them. We've got Dean Allen and Avery ahead. He's going to get held up a little bit here. In the last couple of corners, he'll go to one side there to get past Dean Allen, and now he'll go to the other side to get past Richard Avery. Avery almost got across Ilbrink there, had to do the other direction at the last moment. But coming out the final quarter for the final time, Paul Ilbrink is going to win the iRacing.com Proto GT Challenge event from Road America, and in second place will be Mansberg. The gap across the line just 1 second after 65 minutes worth of racing. and Mansberg gave it his all on that final lap, but luckily for Ulbrich, it all went his way.
Yeah, Ulbrich, even when he was under pressure from Burr, he was able to drive away from him. He was in a league of his own, to be honest. So yeah, well done, Paul, and well done to Cece and Florian. No, it's not Denard.
No, not done yet. Okay, Shoebase still got half a lap to go for him. I think he is. Armstrong's very actually close to the rear of Mohammed Patel as they work themselves into the final corner for the final time for them. It could be a track race as they come to the start-finish line. We'll get confirmation. It looks very close, but actually Armstrong wasn't able to get a good drive at the final corner and able to capitalize. The lap traffic in the draft will help there for Patel. Keeping an eye out on Shoebase working himself down into Canada corner for the final time. Nick Prestige also working himself through the kink for the final time, so a couple more corners left to go for him. Keiko Shoebase was able to dominate the second part of this race, gain a huge advantage over the like of Florian Denard and Richard Avery as he works himself out of the final corner for the final time. Keiko Shoebase is going to take GT1 honours. Going to go back and also have a look at Nick Prestige, who is about to come through the final corner as well. So he's going to come down into the final corner and he will take GT2 victory, David.
Yeah, cracking drive from him. Just class above everyone else. He started pulling away. I thought that those guys would all be a lot closer towards the end, the way that the pace was being set, but he was just like metronomic, wasn't he? He didn't really have any problems all race.
Spit it out. Good boy. So then, as the cars come past the start-finish line, to go through your final race results in a couple of moments' time. The last couple of drivers working themselves around the racetrack to complete their race. A couple of them coming down onto pit road. In fact, I believe that pretty much everyone now has come towards the end of the race. Yes, they have, so we can run through final race results, starting first with LMP2. Paul Ulbrich taking victory in a time of 1 hour 5 and 45 seconds. Mads Burr in second, Roderick Cronin in third, Stefan Schodran in fourth, Maxim Ramstein in fifth, Mohammed Patel in sixth, Marcus Armstrong in seventh, Jacob Frickson in 8th, Arkadiusz Newman in 9th, Roger Jakubowski in 10th, Nick Thies in 11th, Marco Acadonio in 12th, Jan Sololsi in 13th, Dennis Giresin in 14th, Conor Bassel in 15th, and Christos Polonius in the 16th position. Over to GT1, Keiko Shoebase takes victory from Florian Denard in second, Richard Avery in third, Lievenen Drogdenen in fourth, Nicololo Rosselli in fifth, Shoris Peach in sixth, Stefano Lediotto in 7th, Scott Ford in 8th, Kieran Peace in 9th, Peter Ridley in 10th, and then in GT2, Nick Prestige, your race winner, Eric Madoff 2nd, Dean Allen in 3rd, Jonathan Fuller in 4th, Matthew Venn in 5th, Richard Zaleski in 6th, Justin Groenweg in 7th, Jonathan Bootle in 8th, Guilherme Reto in 9th, Thomas Van Boosel 10th, Oliver Brand and Antti Patilla are the last two drivers in GT2. I can take a breath, finally. So, that concludes our coverage of the iRacing.com Prototype GT Challenge Series. And we will be back, of course, next Saturday, first of all, with our coverage of the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series of Road Racing. Start time for that will be on air. The green flag will be about 5 minutes past 2 for that race. Pre-race coverage and post-race coverage of that as well. Plenty more action here on Glacier TV over the coming weeks as well. For more information, go to GlacierTV.com. Meanwhile, for myself, Will Vincent, David Ward, and Yoni Backman, we'll talk to you a little bit later on. Bye-bye.